Okay, so I'm stoked. I'm actually super pumped
Yeah.
to talk about change.
For sure.
You know, it's a really good time to talk about this too, like right after New Year's, and everybody wants to make these changes all the time. And we talk about this a lot because people like the idea of change,
Right.
like they want to do something, but they don't actually follow through with it. Like lots of people don't adhere to whatever change they want to make. Things by February fall off. I mean, if we're talking New Year's resolutions, but just change in
Yeah,
general.
or like change people. A lot of times, I mean, we've done it where you say, oh, I want to make this change, but you don't actually even take any steps towards it. It's just the words, and it's like, you think it in your head, and it's like, oh, it'd be nice to do that. So yeah, I want to make that change, but that's the end of it.
Yeah, well, there's some steps.
For sure.
Right? There's some steps to change, and I don't think people necessarily are always cognizant of what those steps are, and,
Right.
and kind of think of it in a sort of a linear process. It's just kind of like change in general, and it's this big,
Just
unruly mess that they've got to try to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you think about what you just described, that awareness, I think
Right.
there's change happening all the time. So you start off with awareness. It's like, okay, I'm aware that something needs to happen, but too often, people aren't proactive. With the change. Like it's usually a trigger, right?
Right.
Like you've mentioned before, like financial.
Right. All of a sudden, you lose your job and your finances are not where you want them to be, so you are forced into making a change in order to, keep up with your bills and take care of your family and all those things. Or we talked about, you get hit with, at the doctor, and it's like, oh, you need to start exercising or you're at risk for diabetes or whatever it might
heart attack
be.
or whatever.
Exactly.
All these things. I mean, those are common changes. Those are all reactive
Right.
measures, right? So
Yeah, those are all doing something because you have to keep surviving.
yeah, that's kind of like getting a 2x4 right between the eyes
Yeah.
in terms of creating awareness.
Yeah, it leaves you with no time to take the steps and make the change your way.
Right.
It's basically figure it out right now.
Right. So once you move past awareness, then you kind of move into that desire stage. And,
Right.
and this is a really critical spot because, again, to that reactive piece, if you have the desire to change, I mean, a fear of a heart attack or something from your doctor, that's going to create some more desire to a point, right? Same with financial. Like if you're going to lose your house because you lost your job,
Yeah.
well, there's a little motivation behind wanting to do that.
Right.
So it can create some desire.
Right.
But really, no one can create desire for you.
Right.
Even those outside circumstances
No.
can't really create that desire because that's got to come from in yourself.
Well, yeah, you can still, keep on keeping on, and again, life will happen and whatever. But yeah, it has to be that internal. I want to make this change.
Yep. So you start to move past desire. If you can get past desire,
Yeah.
that's kind of that critical mass, right?
Yeah.
Most people fall off their plan
Desire.
because they lose the desire to do something because it's hard.
Well, because now once you're moving past desire, you're moving into the stages that require action.
Exactly.
It's no longer a thought.
Yeah.
It's no longer a feeling. It is now an action-based thing, which is where it gets, like you said, that's where it gets real. That's where it gets tough.
So you've got to get into knowledge. You've got to gain
Yeah.
knowledge about what is the change that you want to make. And
Right.
depending on the change, I mean, there's all kinds of things we could talk for hours about that. But really, it's around understanding what are the, do I read a book? Do I go on social media?
Do I go to school?
Talk to someone?
Yeah. Do I go get training or certificates or
Exactly. So you start to gather knowledge about where you were, where you're going, what's required for the change. And again, all these steps after desire are all really critical because if it gets hard, most people,
Well,
not most people, a lot of people
times.
will quit.
Well, it's easier to go back to, not doing that anymore. It's easier to go back to what you already know because you're comfortable there.
Yeah.
Whereas, taking action,
Yeah.
that takes energy and effort, and it puts you outside of your comfort zone, and so it gets more difficult.
So if you don't get enough knowledge about what it is you need to change, you don't take action yourself because people aren't going to give you the knowledge on their own. You might get some, you might pick up on some things here and there, But if you don't actually get the knowledge that you need, and the right knowledge, not
Right.
just, some person that claims to be an expert on something.
Or an opinion.
Exactly, lots of
Right.
opinions out there, but it's not contextualized to your situation. You're going to get stuck. You're going to get frustrated, and you're going to be like, okay, well, this isn't working the way I wanted it to.
I
abandon.
can't figure this out. I can't.
Pull shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So once you move past that through knowledge, then you start to get into ability.
Yeah.
And ability is coming down to your actual application of things, your practice, for lack of a better word. And that's taking the knowledge. So you got this desire, it takes the knowledge, and you start to apply that.
You're implementing it, and whether it's perfect,
Yeah.
whether it's perfect at that point or not, you're doing it. So it's
When you're going to fuck up. Like
Sure.
you're going to make mistakes as you're practicing things, and you're not going to get the results that you want to see.
Yeah.
And there's this whole cycle of things that are going to happen.
Because if it's the first time you're doing something, it's like anything else. I mean, there are those odd people out there who are just naturally talented at things, who can, see a skateboard for the first time and just get on and ride it. That is very few and far between. So it's getting out there and practicing and making mistakes and learning from your mistakes and putting in the hard work to keep going.
Yep. And just practice.
Yeah.
After that, and this kind of ties back into that practice, so people don't quit, is reinforcement.
Yeah.
Is accountability. You've heard of things like accountability partners, coaches, all those kinds of things. They can actually help you move or apply some of that knowledge and the practice that you have, and make some of those tweaks to help reinforce what's working,
And what's not
identify
working.
what's not working, and continually reinforce progress.
Absolutely.
And it becomes this cycle because new information comes to light all the time.
And like bring that, positivity when you're like, oh, I'm not good. Having somebody who's like, maybe you're not good, but keep going, or what could you do differently, or where are you falling short, and do you need more knowledge, or do you need, has the desire dropped off, and what are you going to do about that? But it's having that person or people, a network of people to kind of help you keep growing and going.
Yeah, there's lots of change models out there. There's change curves, there's change matrices, there's all kinds of things. This isn't going to be the only methodology that you can follow, but it's a good one. Think about the stages that we talked about and where maybe you're at as a change that you're going through.
Right.
And
or a change that you want to go through. Yeah.
And where you're maybe getting stuck. Are you aware of what needs to happen? Do you need to make the change, or being proactive or reactive? Where are you at with that desire? Move through your knowledge. Move through your ability within that, where you got to practice and learn new skills. And then who's holding you accountable? Ultimately yourself, but who do you have to help kind of check into
who's
those
on your
things?
team to build you up and keep you going.
Exactly. So stages of change. That's it.